And with the 2 mules, that about evens out the worker count, because mules tend to be about 4 workers each, so it's close on the worker count. The chrono boost makes it so you can get more probes out more quickly than you can get SCVs, so that's why it balances out. And you can see the Sterling does in fact see Grubby's 3rd base going up, so he knows that it's going into a longer game, and he wants to try and stop this 3rd base from getting fully saturated, because whenever you build an expansion, that is the time that you're the weakest. Like right now, Grubby is the weakest to an attack because he has 400 minerals sunk into this base that he has not gotten anything out of yet. Whereas on the other hand, Sterling has been getting quite a bit out of this base so far. I would like to see more saturation on this. You know, we've only got 13 SCVs here, but that's how it happens sometimes. And he's just making SCVs pretty much everywhere. He's not making any out of his planetary fortress though, because you do have to tab in order to pick the planetary fortress when you select your hotkeys as a terran. And right now we've got a marauder push coming down, a drop coming in to snipe out the nexus. So instead of actually fighting the army head on, he's just going to take out this nexus and then run away, because marauders do a ridiculous amount of damage to the building. So he just runs in. You actually see a feedback on the medevacs, so one of the medevacs, and here comes the nexus again. So that brings Sterling up quite a bit because he has 3 bases that are, you know, running nice and well. The important thing when you get on more bases, especially as a Terran, well, Terran and Protoss, is to get the gas. The more the gas gives you the tech and the high-end units that you like, whereas the minerals gives you the opportunity to build more command centers to expand more depots for more food, and then the lower units like the Marines and the Zealots. So, and the Marauders as well, because Marauders use very little gas. So in general, if you want to build a mass army of low tier units, you don't need as much gas. But as you can see, we've got Sterling canceling the expansion because he does have more minerals than gas. Grubby's pretty even on minerals and gas and is actually double expanding to try and make up for the fact that this base was sniped earlier on. So he's going to get back into this game in a big way if he can get both of these bases up. He can have the gold so he can have more minerals, and he can build more, you know, cannons to protect his base while massing up the high mineral units. Like as you can see, he has a high number of zealots because of the amount of minerals he's been mining. He has full saturation in both of his bases. So that's why he has a whole bunch more mineral units. And you can see we do have ravens and medevacs. Each medevac is 100 gas, so that's a lot of gas put in the medevacs. And then we get some ghosts starting to come out. The ghosts are here to counter the High Templar. We've got a couple of High Templar, not too many. As you can see at the top, we have 5 High Templar. And action from them. Oh, we did see a storm, it looks like, went off, and a feedback to kill the ghost. So that's 1 less ghost, but he did, I believe, lose the High Templar. Well, maybe not. Or maybe he's just warping in more. He's just warping in more zealots. Here comes an attack on the gold base. Sterling does see the gold, and he will attack it, I imagine, from here. Let's see the production. He does have a nuke available, so he could actually nuke this base if he wanted to. And we've got Grubby has his 3rd base saturated. He doesn't really want to saturate this yet because it's under extreme pressure from the Terran. The Terrans are just sitting right here. If we look in the production tab, you can actually see he's building 2 more command centers. So right here, he's got 3 extra command centers going down, and likely what he'll do is he'll just put a base here, base here, base here, drop planetary fortresses, and there's not much the Protoss can do, because if he sends his army over here to kill these planetary fortresses, then the Terran can just move out with his whole army. And we have some nice action going on over here. The High Templar are doing a pretty big number on the Marines. The high mineral units are getting taken out, so he'll be able to replenish those, but the fact is, the Templar do an insane amount of damage. They do 80 damage over 4 seconds to everything. So, you know, 1 storm right here would storm all of these units. 2 storms pop all the Marauders and the medevacs. So you can literally take out this entire army with 2 storms if you were really good and they just sat in the storms. That's just the power of Storm late game. It's considered by many to be one of the most powerful late game spells. Even though it is worse off than it was in the original StarCraft Brood War, it is insanely powerful, and I suggest if you haven't tried out using High Templar much as a Protoss player, go ahead and try it out. Try to get to the attack. A lot of people will use Colossus to get into the High Templar from there, but the High Templar is the money unit, especially after they get the amulet. That gives them 75 starting energy instead of 50. That gives them a storm right when you warp them in. It's essential against drops in late game Terran versus Protoss, because Terrans want to drop in their drop ships here, and you can just warp in 3 Zealots and a High Templar and take care of any form of drop that comes at you. 1 storm, and then the Zealots just hack and slash all the little shooters there. There goes a storm on the Ghost. Now the Ghosts are actually the main unit that the Protoss player wants to kill right now, and as you can see, he's taking them down. Because the Ghost costs 150 minerals, 150 gas. They're a very expensive mineral and gas. So if you can use these storms, they go down. So maybe trying to use the armor Ghost. Before he would go up, split his armor in half, we've got 3 upgrades for the Protoss player. The Terran player has 2 upgrades, so the Terran player is going back to the power of his performance. Decent number. The Immortals are a very good defense. They're doing 65 damage. So clears out that base right there, and then we've got Sterling still has these 2 bases. He's converting that one into an orbital command, because you'll have to attack this one by ground before you get to that, and 1 more orbital command just means that many more minerals. And right now we've got Grubby is building up quite the trust fund of money. He has 5,600 minerals and 1,600 gas. Probably because he was close to max on food before that fight. Oh, here is where the nukes went on. The nukes went down here, killed quite a few units, and he's losing his hex structures and all of his production build. That's why his money's going up so much. Build anymore. We got Sterling over here using stim, taking out the remainder of his army right now. See, this is another very good strategy in high-level play. Now, some people may think it's good to take out all the workers, but once you get 3 or 4 bases, it can be more important to take out the tech structures and even produce the stuff. Because as you can see, Grubby has 5,000 minerals and 3,000 gas. That's enough to, get 150 food worth of armor without a problem. And since he can't spend the money, Sterling is down to 600 minerals, 300 gas. He can't spend the money, so he cannot defend the base at all. He has the units, and he actually has 1 Zealot, 2 Colossus, and 2 High Templars. That's all he can buy with all of his massive money. Another trick, keep your money low, because that's an army that you just fight these kind of fight back. Terran player is running into the base, sniping everything inside. Colossus is trying to do the best that they can, but it looks like Sterling is going to take this out because of it. He got the macro advantage earlier on, so that did help him. And Grubby is still hanging in there, but I don't know how much longer he will go. Beautiful storm to half of the turn. Grubby ends up leaving the game with a GG. So that's the game. There you have it. I hope that gives you guys a little bit of an insight on how to play a Terran versus Protoss and a longer macro game. You can see they pretty much, more or less, they split the map in half that game. We didn't see any action at this base, but pretty much everywhere else. And you can see little armies going here and there, just funneling in. But the early game advantage that Sterling had with his extra macro ended up playing out to be a huge factor in the later game, and him being able to control Grubby's 3rd base is what actually ended up getting Sterling to win the game. It wasn't, this final push that ended up winning. It's just a whole bunch of little things here and there, and the fact that he could spend all of his money while Grubby still had an insane amount of money. That was probably the biggest deciding factor, was the fact he took out all of the production structures with those ghosts in his main. So I hope you guys learned a couple things about a Terran versus Protoss, how to play a long macro game as a Terran, and how to defend as a Protoss. And I will see you guys next time. This is Snowball, over and out.